Hello friends. Recently Kerala was in news, not for its high literacy rates, nor for being a God's own country, but for all the wrong reasons. You must have all heard the news about that pregnant elephant being brutally killed, and now you have people playing politics, giving a communal angle. Let's not get into all those things. The reason for this video is people who hurt animals don't stop with animals. There is an established link between cruelty to animals and the violence towards humans. So much of research, if you can just Google, you will find so many researchers happening, which backs up the finding that there is a direct link between acts of cruelty to animals and violence towards humans. This includes child abuse, domestic violence, elderly abuse, and other violent behavior. Because abusers target the powerless. Crime against animals, spouses, children, and the elderly often go hand in hand. Children who abuse animals may be repeating a lesson learned at home. Who knows? Like their parents, they're reacting to anger or frustration with violence. Their violence is directed at the only individual in the family who is more vulnerable than they are. Parents who neglect or abuse animals frequently subject their own children to similar hardships. We as responsible people, communities, must recognize that abuse to any living being is unacceptable and endangers everyone. Children should be taught to care for and respect animals. We live in a world that not only turns a blind eye to animal cruelty, but accepts it, whether through indifference or legislation. By legislation, I mean it's legal to raise chickens in deplorable conditions for the sole purpose of slaughter. If that isn't animal cruelty, then what is? The problem is that there aren't enough people fighting for animal rights. If everyone started to look at animals, and I'm not talking about just dogs and cats, but as all the animals who share our planet, we would see far fewer cases of cruelty towards animals. Having said that, animal cruelty takes place every day in all places, not just in some poultry farm. It might be happening inside your neighborhood house, your own house, some entertainment venue in a city, or in a lab. You've likely encountered stray animals throughout your life. Domesticated animals also, who have been abandoned and left to fend for themselves. In some cases, animal neglect stems from ignorance. A person keeps an animal on his or her property and doesn't know how to properly care for that animal. This isn't a justification for neglect, but a recognition that we need to educate such people about the animals they care, in their care. For some people, there's a sense of entitlement towards animal. They feel that they have the right of ownership, or like for example circuses, zoos, aquatic parks, where these poor animals are exploited in the name of entertainment. The crowds don't see how much these animals are forced into submission, kept in tiny cages. We have been testing products on animals for many decades. Animals in testing facilities are exposed to all manners of chemicals, substances. Some of them lose their body parts and many terrible consequences. Some people believe that animals totally don't emote. They have no feelings. That is what they believe. They believe that human beings are the only animals on earth that can feel pain, fear, sadness, joy, hope. Those people are wrong. You can ask anyone who has pets. They can attest that animals absolutely feel emotions. They experience joy when they get to play, pain when they injure themselves, fear when they are confronted with a new experience, sadness when someone they love dies. But emotions are limited to dogs and cats. We have seen plenty of evidence to suggest, for instance, that wild animals grieve the deaths over their loved ones. Animals need our help. They can't end animal cruelty on their own. We have to step in and let people who victimize our fellow animals know that it's not okay. It's seriously not okay. Now, what can we do to stop this? Joining an animal rights organization is a great thing. It's a great step. Whether you donate your time or your money, you can become part of the solution. The reason being, these organizations launch investigations, report animal cruelty to authorities, raise awareness, rescue animals. Or if you witness animal abuse, report it. Avoid attending to entertainment events that victimizes these animals. By paying for tickets, you're telling the event organizers that you approve of their methods. But the most important thing that you can do is spread awareness. Let people know the animal cruelty that goes on is in all this situation. Let them understand what is happening. Violence is inevitable for beasts, but it's a responsibility for man. We have the choice in front of us. We can take a decision to be non-violent. We can take a decision to be violent also. I believe when a certain person takes a decision to be violent, no person can compete with him. I repeat, when a person takes a decision to be violent, no beast can compete with him. You can go and search through your history books and you will find such violent beasts as Genghis Khan. You have a Timur, Nadir Shah, a Hitler. And if we consult the history book of beasts and ask them if they had any parallel examples, they would reply, "No sir, we are very poor in that. We do not have any records in this matter." To be violent is simply the nature of animals. It is not its choice, but man has a choice. Same way, non-violence is not the choice of animals, but man can make a choice of non-violence. That is why we have an Nadir Shah and we also have a Buddha. Friends, when the animals are happy, the people are happy. Thank you.